research team in PAVE, gender refers to socially constructed norms, roles and practices around masculinities and femininities. All societies are gendered. Gender is part of what shapes our identities and power relations of the societies we live in. Previous academic research has shown that there are connections between gender and violent extremism. For example, in his book, Healing from Hate, Michael Kimmel, who's a sociologist specialising in masculinities, details how ideals of domineering forms of manhood are part of the attraction of extremisms, especially for young men. He writes that violent extremism can emerge from a variety of gendered factors which can include a thwarted sense of male entitlement, shame at social position, a sense of belonging to a brotherhood, or longing for ideological certainty and conservative gender norms. Misogyny and traditional gender perceptions are central to both radical Islamism and right-wing extremism. There are some women who get involved in extremist politics, often because they share in the political agendas or believe in conservative gender relations too, but their numbers are smaller. In terms of community resilience, it is often assumed by those designing prevention activities that women, as mothers or grassroots community activists, have a lot to contribute to building resilience. Because of these connections between gender and violent extremism and gender and resilience, all the research teams in PAVE discussed good practice in conducting gender-sensitive research when we did our planning. All teams aim to ensure participation by men and women in interviews and focus groups, and integrated questions about gender into the fieldwork in the Balkans and the Middle East and North African region. In the work packages on cumulative extremisms, the role of states and religious institutions in extremism, and in the work package on online and offline radicalisation. Here are some of the questions we asked. Are men and women in your community more vulnerable to or resilient against extremism, and why is that? Are there gender-based motivations for or gender-based resilience against violent extremism? What's the role of women in engagement or disengagement in violent extremism? And in what ways do gendered norms and practices shape narratives in online and offline media, fueling radicalisation? So what are some of the key findings we uncovered in relation to these questions? In the first instance, the findings confirmed what we might expect from previous research. Men were more prominently the ideological entrepreneurs of violent extremism across all the field sites, with extremisms invariably playing on patriarchal ideas and structures to foster support. While some women shared in their families' engagement with extremism, women were relatively powerless in religious and political institutions. Some were forced to follow men into foreign fighting, and in some contexts, such as Iraq, violence against Yazidi women was used as a weapon of extremism. In relation to resilience, women were found to be the majority of actors involved in prevention activities in the Serbian fieldwork. And in Tunisia, one woman who headed an NGO in Keth noted that the presence of women in the public sphere involved in culture, the arts and media helped build resilience by preventing economic marginalisation and bolstering empowerment and participation. There are many factors that drive extremism. Gender is only part of the story, and it is a complicated one. However, understanding the gender dynamics in communities can help identify why some people become involved in extremisms and what changes to gender relations might build resilience.